Hello and welcome. Today we have a pretty serious topic about gun control and just guns in general. Now, there are many arguments for and against gun control. I'm going to go over just like two that I can think of off the top of my head. So, for starters, a lot of people think that you can really easily get one. You kind of can't. You have to go through a background check, you have to get licensing, and these checks can sometimes last several days, and depending on what state you're in, there's a lot more stricter laws on what you can have. So it can be a lot more difficult than some people like to make it out to be. Now, guns do kill a lot. They kill way too many. But most of them are something like self-inflicted or a result of like a gang violence. Now, we have less of a gun problem, more of a mental health issue. People are, even if we remove guns or put stricter regulations on them, people are still going to find other ways to get them and use other methods even if they can't get them. One leading issue of perpetrators being able to be repeat offenders and get them again is other people not really thinking it through them that well. A lot of times people will buy a gun for someone else, even if that person, it may seem stupid to you, and trust me, it is, but even if someone might have a history of violence or whatever, family members and friends may still buy one for them, even if it may seem like a dumb idea and is a dumb idea. Now, another thing to mention is that a lot of times people who end up, causing harm to someone else or themselves, it's not always super intentional. It may be the result of a dumb decision. On YouTube, there's another YouTuber called Brandon Herrera. He has a series called Darwin's Award, where he goes over clips that people have submitted or that he's found of just basically idiots with guns that end up hurting themselves, hurting others, or even remove themselves from the gene pool sometimes. A lot of times you'll see people just wave the barrel over other people, which is called flagging, and they'll look down the barrel. A lot of times this can happen because people just violate the rules of gun safety because they aren't really educated on how to use them. They treat them more like toys than actual tools of harm. The three rules of gun safety are relatively simple. It's just make sure your finger is always off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Make sure you know what's around your target and what's behind it. And don't point the barrel at anything you aren't willing to destroy. Even still, a lot of you probably might think this is common sense, but this seems to slip a lot of people's minds, especially when they're in the range and actually shooting for the first time. You can see it a lot with people just waving the gun right past someone else and flagging a ton of people in the range with their finger directly on the trigger. At the end of the day, guns are just a tool. It's a whole guns don't kill people, people kill people argument. Even if you remove one of the means to harm someone, people will find another way. And they may not be as effective, but they're still there. And, often, if we remove them legally, like there's the whole thing about 3D printing one, people still find other ways around the law to hurt people. That's without even considering how much the law is already against gun owners. Someone could shoot a perpetrator who's breaking into their house with the intention of taking all their things and hurting their family, and the law will often still side with the perpetrator and get rid of and punish the guy with the gun, even if they were just stopping someone who is breaking the law. Even if you only want to put some more restrictions or bans on more higher caliber weapons like an assault rifle, there are still many issues. Like with everything that has to do with the law, you really have to pay attention to how you word the thing. For example, how do you classify assault rifle in this case? Would it still be an assault rifle if you just took a pistol, added a barrel and a stock on it? Does that instantly make it an assault rifle? Like, how do we classify that? Is it a caliber over a certain point, a certain power level? Well, then that would also cause other problems with other types of guns, which aren't assault rifles. Like normal rifles, mainly used for hunting, you would cause issues there. And now you may hate hunters or have prejudice against them, but for now, that's a topic for a different video. Furthermore, there is the proposition of a law or some legal restriction that allows the police or some other government body like the FDA to take away a person's firearms if they're deemed a harm to themselves or others. But the thing is that oftentimes you already can do that. If someone may be intending to self-harm, you could help get them into a mental asylum, dial a hotline, call the police. There's a lot of strategies already there for helping that, dealing with that situation. And oftentimes, if you were to make that into a specific specified law, you would often just cause a loophole for people to just take everyone's guns away, which may be the goal for some of you, and that may seem like a good thing, but in the end, that would cause more problems than it would do good, and could just create a loophole for people to take everyone else's weapons away. Guns have many uses beyond just shooting people. They're used for hunting, recreational use, skeet shooting, if you will. They aren't. Most people who live in it's like a rural. I hate that word. It's like a rural versus city argument. Typically, if you're in a city, the only real reason you'd ever use a gun is to shoot another living person. But more commonly, if you're somewhere like in the country, if you're somewhere more like in the countryside, you may grow up learning to hunting with your parents. My grandfather was an avid hunter. He would do it a ton. He took my brother out several times when he was a teen, and there were never any accidents that were caused there. There are a ton of gun owners, but most gun owners won't kill people. Because what we need to do is stop the minority instead of trying to punish the majority. At the end of the day, the majority, and especially in a democracy like this, the majority will be the one that needs to be favored because that affects more people. If you have any further questions or rebuttals, leave them down in the comments. It's easier to have some clear, definite arguments to go against rather than just sort of ramble. At the end of the day, people can just be idiots. If you remove the intent to cause harm, it's going to do far better the job than removing one of the methods or the means to cause harm. Fixing mental health is definitely a bigger issue than removing guns or controlling them. And with that, I will see you all later. So just enjoy the rest of this match and have a good day.
Dropping back in. Time for vengeance. You're redeploying. Enemy soldier incoming. Changing mag. Be advised, contact. Precision airstrike available.
LDVR awaiting targeting data.
remain. You're almost done here. We've got 10 squads active in the field. Precision airstrike standing by.
Time of flight 5 seconds.